This is John Beat with Let's Talk Outdoors, and I'm here with Michael Waddell, the bone collector. If you've ever seen that show, you know it's exciting. And Michael, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, glad to be here, John. Glad to be here.
Now, what do you think of the 2015 SHOT Show? You're a celebrity, so can you walk down the aisles without someone asking for your autograph?
Actually, here is no problem because everybody's so busy trying to get something bought and trying to save up enough money to buy a cup of coffee around this joint here in Las Vegas. I think it's like $10 a cup. So I don't know if people are pooting the blues because they're trying to figure out how to find more money to tip their way to the next place. But it seems like here, SHOT Show every year, it gets so big and gets bigger every year. And for me, it's not like it, like a big fanfare thing. You meet so many people that you grew up in the industry, seeing. And actually, this is like my 18th SHOT Show. So I've been real lucky to have a chance to come since I was pretty young, working at Realtree and stuff. So it's almost like a family reunion, see so many people and have a chance to meet with your partners and stuff like that. So it's busy, but it's not like the crazy, like fanfare and celebrity type thing, for me at least, and that's kind of cool.
Well, you got a lot of fans out there, but let's go back a ways. You like to turkey call, and didn't you become a world champion turkey caller?
That's actually, yeah, John, that's where I got my start, is a turkey calling, growing up in Georgia, and I started competing when I was about 17, 18 in turkey calling contest, and started doing pretty good, and won a couple bigger contests, and that led to having a chance to team up with a guy named Ricky Joe Bishop who won, which Ricky Joe Bishop, that just sounds country like a turkey caller. Him and I went on to win the Grand National Championships as well as a World Championship and stuff, and really that's where I met Bill Jordan, and I started guiding for Bill for turkey hunting, during turkey season. Realtree was based out of Columbus, Georgia, which was only about an hour from where I lived. So I'd show up and he'd have outdoor rider hunts and celebrity hunts, and obviously back in those days he was doing a show on TNN. So I just started guiding and taking people hunting, and that led to me every once in a while running a camera and videoing some of these people I were guiding, and it led to a full-time job. And from there I had a chance to start basically learning how to edit, and really within 2 or 3 years they let me basically become a producer, sent me to school and the whole 9 yards. So pretty much my whole college and everything, which I went to college, but I had a chance to go to some editing schools and production stuff through Realtree. Everything I know, all my education has been in the hunting industry, kind of like real time, jumped in it and had a chance to work in it and meet people and learn through just being on the job. So it's really been cool and really been a blessing. So it's been a neat career for sure.
Oh yeah, teaming up with Bill Jordan, he's just an amazing guy. He recognizes talent, and he has really changed this industry. And he's got the show Realtree Road Trip, and you hosted that, and then you went on from there and you started Bone Collector. Was that your idea or somebody else's idea? It's an instant success. Everybody loves the show. You talk to anybody that watches outdoor hunting shows, and they'll talk about Bone Collector. So how did that really begin? It
actually, really everything started for me at Realtree when I had a chance to start doing that Realtree Road Trip show that you just mentioned. It's funny, I was so, I don't know, I felt so humbled and blessed to be able to basically host a show, because that was never my strategy. It wasn't like, man, one day I'm gonna be on TV, I'm gonna host a TV show. I was just like, holy cow, I might get a chance to pay the light bill working in this hunting industry. I don't necessarily, because I always thought my dad was a contractor. He built houses and did carpentry work, and I went to school and got a heating and air degree. So I thought, well, as a man, that's how you got to make a living. You can't make a living hunting or being around outdoors or fishing or whatever. And so, like, I remember the first couple of years working at Realtree, like, holy cow, man! I was like, I'm gonna get a chance to make a living being around hunting. I get a chance to go every year to Las Vegas to this thing called SHOT Show and see people I look up to and respect. And so through that, I just had all these ideas, and I was kind of that guy that never truly left, rural Georgia. And so I was always such a fan of the shows and the industry itself, but it also gave me a lot of creative ideas, because I would see things that I was like, man, that guy wasn't exactly who I thought he would be. I thought he was more, whether it be straight-laced or whatever. I'd see a personality on TV, but then I'd be around hunting camp with him, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the funniest dude forever, whether it be like a Larry Weisman or like a Mark Chestnut being a country singer. So I remember thinking, holy cow, I wish that would be the show, the other side of these personalities. So I remember that came up with the concept of Realtree Road Trips. I just wanted to kind of have the camera and the production guys eavesdropping in on this hunting camp and the camaraderie and taking that same vibe into the hunt. And the true authentic reactions when somebody shoots their biggest deer, or a kid who gets his first doe with a bow, or a lady on her first turkey. And so basically what we want to do is establish a complete, authentic, whether you liked it or not, authentic, personality-driven show. And so when I had pitched that idea to Bill Jordan and David Blanton, they was like, let's do it, but you host it. And I'm like, no, I wasn't thinking we host it. I was just thinking we should produce it. I'd like to be behind the scenes and produce it, find the right personalities. Because in my mind, that show didn't need a host. I thought every camp could become its own deal. Well, I mean, it ain't like you got to twist somebody's arm hard to host a show, because that meant I got the chance to hunt more. And so we did it, and that led to some great opportunities. On the downside of that, I was a full-time employee working for Bill Jordan. And of course, in any corporation you work in, you understand there's policies and parameters. And so with that led to, well, you can't do certain things. You can't go out there and work for Bushnell on the side, and you can't have a check from them if you're working for me, because it isn't fair to our policies and parameters based on other employees. So I remember I sat down with Bill Jordan, and after road trips, everything was kind of going crazy, and I had all this opportunity. So we sat down and discussed a strategy about me going out on my own. So in 2007, I left Realtree as a full-time employee to basically discover the opportunities of getting an opportunity to have endorsements or to work hunting shows where maybe I could go do seminars and hang out and get extra money. And so with that, immediately, one insecurity I always had was, man, this is cool, man. At that particular time, it seemed to be the Michael Waddell deal, and I was like, man, and I was always, to be honest, I was really insecure about that, because I'm thinking, holy cow, what if something happens to me? Or I didn't want it to be all about me, and it made me almost feel weird when it was Michael Waddell kind of supposedly being labeled as this professional hunter star. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but I guess it was from, the humble beginnings and where I come from. And I remember thinking, man, I want to do something that's not about me, but I understood enough of the opportunities that what I had going was good, and I want to take advantage of it. So I was like, man, I want to create a brand and a show that I can launch with some of the success I have, but it's bigger than me. And so that is how the Bone Collector idea came up, even to the point of hiring Nick and T-Bone to help me with that, because those are good personalities that were fun. We had the same kind of compass on how we felt about things, on just no ego, having fun. And so those guys were the perfect guys to kind of have part of that Bone Collector team. It was a crazy schedule, so they was able to go on some hunts and anchor these shows, even that I wasn't. But I didn't have a name of the show, didn't know what to call it. And how that came about was, at the same time, these opportunities, some of these signature opportunities to do like a gun. I remember Thompson Center going to do a gun, and they had mentioned calling it like a Michael Waddell signature series muzzleloader. And I'm thinking, I didn't like that idea. And I remember telling Greg Ritz, like, man, I just wish we could name it something cool. So we're shooting this gun on the range. We went up there a couple times and developed this new frame, which at the time was a Triumph frame, and we're shooting it. And I was shooting it, and we shot this really good group. And I said, man, I don't know what we call this gun. I said, but this dang sure gonna be a Bone Collector. And when I said that, I'm like, oh my God, that'd be, why don't we call this gun the Bone Collector? That's the, it can be the gun that's kind of the Michael Waddell signature series gun, but let's call it the Bone Collector, the Thompson Center Bone Collector. So they liked it, and then on the way home, I was thinking, that'd be a pretty cool concept for a show, Bone Collector, because it's a little bit, at the time, as you know how the hunting industry is, there wasn't a lot out there that was a little bit, that made you thought everything was, the majestic outdoors or whatever outdoors. And I thought, well, Bone Collector, some people's going to like it, some people are going to think it's too in your face, some people are going to think it might relate back to the movie that Denzel Washington did, or I think it was. But I was thinking, that's just enough. And so we thought of the logo and got it all done. And so that's really how Bone Collector started. But the whole plan was basically to take attention off me and from, I guess, a business aspect to create a brand that could carry on further than what I figured that the Michael Waddell brand could carry, and also give other people an opportunity to do some things. And I felt like I had a pretty good idea of how Bill Jordan had helped me be successful. I felt like I could kind of create some of the same opportunities for some other personalities, which were Nick and T-Bone, and now we've extended that and trying to do even more in production and stuff like that. So that's the super long story, John, there. I apologize for getting long-winded, but that's pretty much the whole way it got started for me, Bone Collector.
You answered two of my questions. One of them was going to be about your muzzle loader, but here's another one. What about booger bottom? I mean, people want to know, what is Booger Bottom?
I know, I get people that almost get mad at me, like, oh, bull crap, Waddell, you ain't just country, Booger Bottom, like it's some fable deal, and I get all the time people try to, they get aggravated or being like, what's this Booger Bottom thing, or, hey, are you just playing to be this country boy or whatever, but it's funny, if you go anywhere close to Warm Springs, Georgia, or Manchester, or Woodbury, you can ask where Booger Bottom is, and there's not a street sign, but they say, yeah, Booger Bottom, go down there, turn left, and it's an area, and kind of the story behind Booger Bottom is back in the early days before Prohibition and everything, when they were when you couldn't buy liquor. I guess obviously in rural Georgia there's a lot of old moonshine, a lot of corn liquor made, and so obviously the revenuers, and in Warm Springs, Georgia, where the little White House is, where Roosevelt used to come visit, there was a story about they always tried to keep that area pretty clean because the president was always there. Well, this little area that I'm from, they created this fabled booger or animal that was supposed to be half bear, half cat, and so in an effort to scare any revenuers from obviously trudging through the woods trying to bust up these liquor steals. And so the whole deal is, you can mess around where you want to, but I wouldn't go through Booger Bottom, because there was some pretty rough characters and personalities, as well as you had this big cat that might eat you. And so that was kind of the story. And it just stuck, and everybody always just called that area Booger Bottom. So it still is, and it's funny because like everybody that lives in that area, when you ask them where they're from, like, yeah, I'm from Booger Bottom over there, just in between Warm Springs and Woodbury.
And now if you go to Booger Bottom, you might run into the bone collector. That's not scary though, that's a good thing.
That's right, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
All right, well tonight, it's the big awards night. Do you think you're gonna win?
I don't know. If I do, man, we'll be tickled to death. I think we have been pretty lucky to be nominated for some, but like I said, if you get a little old trophy to put in the cabinet, that's nice. But to be honest, I don't think we do it just for the trying to win a trophy. We want to do it because we love it, and we do love it, and that is a very cool gesture that the Outdoor Channel's come up with, a Golden Moose Award to award some people that very well deserve an opportunity to be recognized. So if we get recognized to win one of those awards, it'd be cool. But if we don't, it's not like we're disappointed. We're happy either way.
All right, well let's talk about hunting. What is your favorite all-time hunt, and what about a hunt you haven't done yet that it might not even be for the show, but really, what is your dream hunt, and what has been your best hunt so far?
First of all, just getting a chance to do some of the things I did early in my career with realtree, hunting elk. I'd always want to shoot a good elk and stuff. But the last several years, and even when we started Bone Collector, I think because I'd had the opportunity to check off so much of those animals on my bucket list, like a big moose with a bow, like a brown bear, elk, whitetail, some of those things that, some of the bigger ones I had a chance to take. Those all were fascinating, but the last few years, or since we started Bone Collector, by far the hunts that stand out the most are the ones that I've been lucky enough to bring other people that I care a lot about and love on hunts. Like probably my all-time favorite hunt, or two that come to mind, is my dad, who obviously always took me hunting when I was a kid. He had never shot an elk with a bow, but him and I used to talk about it, dream about it, when we talk about hunting together. And so we'd always even had this barn that had this little apartment. We hadn't finished the apartment yet. So man, one day we're gonna put an elk right there. That'd be a perfect place for an elk, And but we hadn't had a chance nor the money. And back in those days, they would go elk hunting. So I'd always said, as soon as I ever have enough money, I'm gonna buy my daddy. I'm gonna take him elk hunting. And so sure enough, we go to Sierra Vista, Colorado. We documented the whole deal. And about 4 or 5 days into the hunt, my dad shot a really nice, like a 310 6x6, and shot him with a bow. He went over and fell dead. I was right there with him, and man, I lost it. I mean, I ain't never been one to do no crying out there hunting, but man, it was just emotionally just something else to see how happy my dad was. He got to crying, I got to crying. It wasn't, I mean, I was like just tore up because I was just thinking of all them times of running around hunting Georgia and that dream. And even though I'd already shot elk, to see him, it was almost like a reversal of roles, Even though I was a son, it felt like I'd become the dad, seeing my dad. He just looked like a little old youngin' after shooting his elk, And so that was probably my favorite hunt. And then probably my next favorite was seeing my uncle, who was 80 years old, same thing. He'd always want to shoot elk, never went. Him and my dad always took me. So I guess my favorite hunts now have been having a chance to kind of give back to those who gave me so much when I was a kid. When I was, 11, 12 years old, always taking me hunting, whether it was rabbit, squirrel, deer, get me involved in turkey hunting. So to see me have that opportunity to see them do things that they had never done, those by far have been my favorite things to do, for sure.
You're from the South, it's okay to cry.
Yeah, I know.
What about a hunt that you're looking forward to sometime in your life, anywhere in the world?
I think the last major thing on my bucket list that I really want to do is I want to shoot a really good brown bear with my bow and arrow. That's something I'm going to try to put together hopefully this summer or right now to try to do this coming fall. That's something I've always wanted to do. I was real fortunate to get a brown bear with my gun, but I haven't had a chance to hunt one with a bow and arrow. So that's what I want to do. And really, that is the last kind of major thing. I've had a chance to, I'd always want to shoot a Cape buffalo with a bow and arrow. I got one of those, and some of the other animals. And I'm not one of those guys who has a million different things. Like I've never dreamed like, oh man, I'm gonna go shoot me a muskox, or I got to go get a Marco Polo. I mean, I would do it if I had the opportunity, but it's not something that I have kind of wrote down and stuck to my, to my cork board, when I was a kid. Like, pretty much most of the things I've had a chance to hunt and check off, but that brown bear with the bow is kind of my last major thing that I would love to do.
I've got to introduce you to my friend here behind the camera, Christopher Batten from Alaska Angler and Alaska Hunter Publications. He wrote Hunting in Alaska. He's done a bunch of brown bear hunting.
Hey, good.
I got to get you two together.
Hey, that's perfect.
Because I'm sure he'll have a recommendation for
you. Dang right, and I definitely want to, because sometimes you see some people that really embrace the bow hunting, the bear in Alaska, and then other outfitters, man, as soon as you talk to them and you mention bow hunting, they're like, they don't want nothing to do with it, so yeah, definitely. That's the thing. I just want to find because I found with bow hunting, especially out west, especially dangerous game, which is certainly bear, most people consider that a brown bear dangerous game, is such a serious deal that if you don't find somebody that embraces the bow hunting part of it, then sometimes it can turn into a tough hunt because they'll be mad and frustrated having to take a bow hunter in. So yeah, no doubt, I'll definitely talk to him.
Sure, you guys talk. Well, it was really a lot of fun talking to you, and I'm sure everyone watching is happy to really get an insight to how you got started and what you're all about. So watch The Bone Collector. It's a great show. Michael, thanks for joining us on Let's Talk Outdoors.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me here. And we had, there was a guy there, but he was young, he was like 21, 22, and I didn't know where he was like, well, God dang. And so anyway, I missed the next hunt. We ended up staying there 17 days. So a 10-day hunt turned into, but as you live in Alaska, it's I learned one right quick, it's Alaska time. When you get to Alaska, you're on Alaska time. And it ain't like, 5 minutes late, you might just be a whole day late.
No, a week. I remember Chris was going on a hunt, and he was going to go way up in the mountain, get dropped off, and he says, I'm going on this hunt. If you don't hear from me, maybe you should get worried. So didn't hear from him. A blizzard had come in, and how long were you there?
4 days or so was pick up. Yeah, 14 days later they picked us up.
Yeah.
And that's common. I mean, that's like
that's what I was ready for.
No big deal. Like I tell you in Alaska, like, oh, big deal. You're on there 17 days. It ain't bad. I mean, that's just 7 days. He was supposed to go on 10 days, but that 7 days, no big deal. He was on time.
But you talk about drama for a show. Of course, the batteries are going dead.
Yeah. Well, what was unique about this show is, and it was in Road Trip. Man, people love that show. And so I told the outfitter, and the outfitter had comped us these hunts. It was a moose hunt. And I took a country singer with me. And I took a country singer with me, so he's freaking out. And he's like, man, he kept saying, this wasn't in the brochure. And I'm like, obviously. And so we get back in there, and I remember telling the outfitter, I was like, look, if you don't mind, this needs to be shown exactly like it happened, from us being aggravated, mad, to where y'all missed a boat in some areas, and this and that. So he was all about it, and ended up, even though it was a tough hunt, he booked out after that, man. He booked a lot of hunts from that particular show because it was the most authentic. We were mad, we were frustrated, and we had, and you probably remember this, the Pilgrim family.
Yeah,
was part of the guys helping. They were out of that Shoshone or Wrangell Mountain area. Yeah, exactly. So the year after we left, this was 2002 or 3, it was like the year after we left, they had got busted. This if you look it up. And so they were part of the guides that were helping us, or kind of helping us pack and get out the moose and stuff like that. Hard-working kids, and they all look like Grizzly Adams. And so ended up, I guess their dad, they got busted for all kind of crazy thing. Got him. It was like this weird.
In Alaska?
Well, I knew something was weird. Look, as we get there, and this family, this pilgrim, they were all got boys. They were anywhere from 18 to 22 that was in camp helping us, and just jolly, super cool, super nice, and exceptionally naive. I mean, to the point to where Red Akins, the country singer, gets his guitar, and we're playing. We brought a guitar because we knew we didn't have nothing else. And of course, he's a country singer. It'd be a good place to write a few songs. So he's playing. Well, the Pilgrim family, they love to play music and play a lot of gospel music. So immediately they're just like, oh my God, so we're sitting there playing old gospel songs. Well, all of a sudden Red Akins starts playing, you ain't nothing but a hound dog crying. And man, their eyes lit up, and they're like, oh man, oh my God, is that your song? Did you write that song? And we like looked up and we was like, no, this is, you ever heard of Elvis Presley? And like, who's Elvis Presley? And this is a 20-year-old. They didn't know, and then immediately we started like doing an Alan Jackson song. We do like a Garth Brooks. They didn't know who George Strait was. They knew Michael Jackson. And I remember thinking, and that was young. I was young in my career of traveling myself. First time in Alaska, I'd never met anybody who didn't know who Elvis Presley was. I mean, I'm sure tons of people and kids in Zimbabwe don't know, but I'm thinking, this dude talks like me and acts like me. He's country. He knows all about hunting. And what's funny was, this guy knew Bill Jordan, all the family knew Bill Jordan, because I guess they were allowed to watch hunting videos.
But not Elvis Presley.
But not Elvis Presley. And so I was like, are you kidding me? And so I was about as more fascinated sitting down talking to that Pilgrim family as I was going hunting. And so, man, I kind of fell in love with these boys, and I didn't meet the sisters. And I remember it's kind of like, when you do that, I'm like, dude, I was ready to just take them on home to Georgia. And like, man, dude, come on, man, y'all need to be part of the show. It's fun. And they were so entertaining and cool and fun. And then literally, the year after that, I'm watching CNN or Fox News. I'm like, holy, that's like that. I was hunting with those guys. And so anyway, but that trip to Alaska, man, we ended up shooting. I shot a really big moose with my bow and arrow. Red Akins shot what ended up to be a Boone and Crockett moose, because they were big animals up in there. We saw all kind of bear signs. We had grizzly tags, but never saw one. But for our first trip, that was one of the toughest. But I'm kind of glad that trip turned out the way it did, because it made all the other trips to Alaska a piece of cake. I mean, after that, because that one was so brutal for us, the walking and the trudging through the snow and the horses. And, I hadn't rode a lot of horses, but my God, you'd hunt half the morning to find them horses that had been shackled or whatever, trying to, and them horses were old, so they'd be almost back to camp. We'd have to go 3 miles to find them. They could get around hobbled, was it hobble them, I guess, and we never found them, just get to going for the hunt. So that was quite the experience, to say the least.
Some hunters would not have returned to Alaska, but
No, to be honest, it took me a couple of years. I'm like, okay, I got my moose, talking about that bucket list, check it off. Let's go turkey hunting.
It made an impression on you, Pilgrim.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt. I'm just glad I wasn't camping over that mountain with the family and old Papa Smurf, whatever he is, Papa Pilgrim, whatever. Papa Pilgrim. And,
oh my gosh.
Red and I was talking about this the other day. Red Akins we were just discussing that hunt the other day. Because he kept saying, dude, we ain't getting out of here alive, man. They ain't gonna come get us, man. I'm telling you, they ain't gonna. He was dead serious, like they're not coming to get us.
Were there any banjos?
No, we had the guitar. I remember we were so freaking bored, and I still had a grizzly tag. Him and I both had grizzly tags. But you know how it is. So he's like, dude, we're gonna pick you up this time. So it got to the point I didn't know where to get up and go hunting or wait on the plane, because obviously if this plane comes, well, you're going to get on it. So we like everyone get into this runway, we shelled and stuff so we could land. And it's like, well, I mean, we can get this. So it's like I've never had an emotion like that. Like, we got a horse. I mean, I know it's 30 miles. We rode them back. We can ride them back out. But as soon as we get everything packed up, I'm going to see the plane come on. And obviously that's an easy, it's kind of like when you're stuck at the Salt Lake airport and you know what, in 6 hours I can be home. But they're going to announce this. They said it's only a 10-minute delay. And that 10-minute delay turns into freaking, all day sitting in the airport, and then 8 hours later, it's like, dude, I could have freaking got a car and drove home. That's how I felt in that deal. And then on top of that, I had this grizzly tag, but I didn't go hunt because I was thinking, as soon as I go pack out and get top of the mountain, start glassing a grizzly, the plane's gonna come in and he's gonna land, and it's like, well, hell, I guess I'm hunting and leave again. So I'm like, we just sat out there. We were so bored that for a full day we talked in an English accent the whole day. I mean, we didn't know
Let's
what
hear
to
it,
do.
gotta hear it.
Yeah, I don't even know exactly what it was. It might have been Australian. We were like, pass the butter, mate, or whatever. And I think it more sounded Australian than it did English. But we was talking. We did all these stupid skits. I mean, if you go back and dig through the archives of that particular hunt, you got a whole show. You got an Outdoor Channel hit right there, just in that one behind the scenes show. For sure.
I'll do that. Boy, you've been fun.
I appreciate it, guys.